Okay, very good afternoon. Today I will discuss the details of dynamic logic circuit using CMOS. Now, so far we have already completed the major portion of your digital VLSI design, and that includes the from the beginning part, that why CMOS is required, and prior of that, what is the fabrication process, and what are the various techniques, what are the various steps like your diffusion, ion implantation, etching, and many other steps that are being followed in the process of fabrications that we have already covered, right? And after that, we entered into the region of using CMOS, how the digital circuits can be designed. And these digital circuits includes your sequential logic circuit, combinational logic circuit, any kind of logic gate design, any kind of Boolean expression design with SOP and POS form, and everything that we have done, right? And we have already studied to design the various techniques, various reduction technique, various gate reduction technique to incorporate the advantage of the area requirement, to advantage the speed requirement, to advantage the size requirement, everything. And for that purpose, we have already studied the pass transistor logic, the complementary pass transistor logic, transmission gate logic, pseudo NMOS logic, and various kinds of logic, right? And based on that logic, we have already solved numerous problems, right? Various kinds of problems we have already solved regarding that, based on that. So I think that after this, after that portion, you should have no doubts, right? And after that, we discussed the MOS inverter characteristics curve of the static CMOS, right? Because in static CMOS, you have NMOS and PMOS both. So in which regions, which kind of MOS will be in linear mode, which kind of MOS will be in saturation mode, and which kind of MOS will be in cutoff mode, depending on their current and voltage equation, depending on their VGS, depending on their VDS, depending on ID, and in every parameters we have already discussed the region wise characteristics curve, right? And now today we are here to discuss the our last module of digital VLSI design, that is the dynamic logic circuits in CMOS, right? Dynamic CMOS logic, in short, dynamic CMOS logic. So today our topic will be dynamic CMOS logic, right? It's a very interesting and very good topic, and if you go through the previous portion of your digital VLSI very thoroughly, then it will be very much easier to get understand that why it is called dynamic logic circuit, right? And under this dynamic logic circuit, there are a very straightforward questions in the semester, and I will today discuss all the questions related to that. And before going to the discussion, I must highlight, I must focus on that key areas that will be discussed under this category, right? So dynamic logic circuits, under this category we will discuss the following. Now what are they? Now first, why it is called dynamic logic circuit, right? Why it is called dynamic? What are the advantage? Because we have already studied so many things related to combination logic circuit, sequential logic circuit, CMOS design, everything. Okay, so what are the extra advantages, right, of this dynamic logic circuit? Now the third one, pre-charge and evaluate logic. All are new to you, but I will discuss this following because I am highlighting these points because these are the common questions in the semester, right? So if you cover all these things, there will be no unknown thing to you from this dynamic logic circuit. So my third point is pre-charge and evaluation logic. I will all explain one by one. Next one, next one is your cascading problem. Is a very important question. Cascading problem of dynamic logic circuit design. Dynamic logic circuit. To overcome this problem, there should be some solution. Okay, and that solution is known domino logic, right? And in domino logic there are some drawback, and in order to recover that you have to study the Nora logic. Okay, so all these things are in your belongs to your dynamic logic circuit design, dynamic CMOS logic circuit design, right? So I will highlight all these points because all these points are necessary, important, very important of this last module of digital VLSI. You have to know everything, right? And it's a very interesting, very interesting. If you draw the diagram properly, if you go through step by step, then it will be very much easier to understand, right? Okay, so let's come to the point. What is dynamic logic circuit? Come to the point, what is dynamic logic circuit, right? Okay, so before going to that, I must say that in static CMOS design, in the first class, very first class, if you recall the very first lecture of myself that I studied, that I delivered in your first lecture, I told that in your static CMOS design, for any input logic, we require the 2n number of transistors. Every time I repeated this portion, where every time I repeated that for n number of inputs you require the 2n number of transistors, right? So it increases the twice, 4 times, 8 times, 10 times, and so the number of transistors are increasing. The number of transistors are increasing rapidly. So if the number of transistors are increasing rapidly, so the area requirement will be high, right? But we are going to design the VLSI, that is very large scale integration. So we want to incorporate all the logic, we want to fabricate, we want to embed all the devices into a very small area. So the very first objective of ourselves will be to reduce the area. So we will not go for, that is, for n number of inputs we will require the 2n number of transistors. So for that purpose we have already used the various reduction techniques, right? So for and there we saw that whenever we used for n number of transistors, there are n plus 1 number of transistors. For n number of transistors there are n number of inputs, there are n number of transistors, everything, various logics we have used, right? For transmission gate, for complementary pass transistor logic, for pass transistor logic, and everything. And in pseudo NMOS logic we saw that for n number of inputs, I must write over here, for n number of inputs we require n plus 1 number of transistors. Why this one? This one is for only one PMOS, right? Because n is the number of NMOS and only one PMOS is used. So the number of PMOS is going to be reduced, right? In this pseudo NMOS logic circuit design that I have already shared. Now, why we are wishing to reduce the number of PMOS? What do you think? Why we are every time going to discuss the number of PMOS is less in any kind of design? Because the area requirement of the PMOS is already higher than the area requirement of the NMOS, right? So we are the engineers, we are the electronics and communication engineers, will not will not require to increase the number of PMOS in any kind of design. So we will always focus, we will always concentrate on how to reduce the number of the PMOS, right? Okay. So this kind of logic we know that this is the ratioed circuits, right? Ratio circuit or pseudo NMOS logic circuit, right? But what are the drawback of this circuit, this pseudo NMOS logic circuit or any kind of ratioed logic circuit? There are various drawbacks of this circuit. The first drawback is a slow rising transition. Slow rising transition. If you go through very detail of pseudo NMOS logic circuit of my lecture that I already shared, you will properly get understand that why I am discussing this kind of drawbacks of this ratio logic circuit if you go through this properly, right? So the first drawback is slow rising transition, right? Second and very important drawback is static power dissipation. I also mentioned this term whenever I discussed the pseudo NMOS logic circuit. Now it is static power dissipation. And the last one is non-zero VOL. VOL means the output low voltage. It's a very, very important point. And to understand this point, please go through pseudo NMOS logic circuit. I am again saying pseudo NMOS logic. I already discussed over there, right? Okay, so these all kind of drawbacks, right, of these ratio circuits can be overcome by using a single clock input to the pull-up transistors, right? All these overcome. How can you get rid of that? If we use, what is the solution? What is the solution? If we use a clock input to the pull-up transistor. What is pull-up transistor? That is PMOS. Okay, so to get overcome this kind of drawback, this kind of disadvantages, we will use the clocked pull-up transistor. Got understood? Clocked pull-up transistor. Now we will discuss what is this kind of transistor, and this is nothing but the dynamic behavior of the circuit, and which is known the dynamic logic circuit. Okay, so we will enter into the region of the dynamic logic circuit, right? And before going to the dynamic logic circuit, I must say that there are two kinds of dynamic logic circuit. One is your footed and one is your unfooted. Now, what do you mean by footed? What do you mean by unfooted? That will be clarified in the today's discussion, right? Okay, so let's come to the very important point of the dynamic logic circuit. So that is your dynamic inverter, because inverter is a very simplest circuit, is the simplest circuit to get understand, right? So first of all, it will be dynamic inverter, and through this dynamic inverter, it will be very much easier to get understand that what is your pre-charge and what is your evaluation logic. Now that's why I am writing over here that is the dynamic inverter, simple inverter. Inverter means there will be a pull-up network, there will be a pull-down network, and there will be input and the single output, right? So this is the dynamic, the general diagram of the dynamic inverter. Okay, first I will draw the general diagram, and then I will draw the dynamic inverter circuit. Okay, first of all, I have already written the heading of dynamic inverter. So let's draw that what is your dynamic inverter. You all know this. This one, this is your PMOS, this is your NMOS, and these NMOS, there is an input. Suppose this input is A, and these PMOS, and I said in the previous section that the PMOS will be clocked PMOS. So here it will be a clock pulse, right? And this is your VDD, and this is your output, means Y. Okay, so it is the dynamic inverter circuit, right? So what is the general diagram of the dynamic logic circuit? What is the general diagram? Now the general diagram is there is one PMOS obviously, and there is the pull down network of NMOS, in number of NMOS maybe, and it's depending on the input, and this is your ground connection, this is your PMOS, this is your VDD, and this is your output, and these PMOS will be the clocked, controlled by the clock, right? So this is your general diagram of the dynamic logic circuit. This is your general diagram of the dynamic logic circuit, and this is the general diagram of the dynamic inverter circuit, right? Because this is a number of transistors are very less, so it will be very much easier to get understand that what is the principle, what is the phenomena that are happening inside your dynamic logic circuit. Now come to the point, how it is known the dynamic logic circuit, and I must say that all are unfooted. Why it is called unfooted, I will clarify this in the post section, right, after discussing this. Okay. Now this dynamic circuit operation is based on two mode. Okay, one is your p-charge mode and one is your evaluation mode. It's a very good question and very common question that discuss the pre-charge and evaluate logic. Discuss the pre-charge and evaluate logic of the dynamic CMOS logic circuit. It's a very, very important question and very good question. So what is that? This the total circuit behavior of the dynamic logic circuit is divided into two parts. The total circuit operation, this is a dynamic circuit operation, is divided into two parts. One is your pre-charge and one is your evaluation logic. Now when we will call that what is pre-charge logic? Now pre-charge logic is that when clock equal to 0. Got my point? And whenever we will call the evaluation logic, when this is the opposite of that is when clock equal to 1. Right? So please keep it in mind that pre-charge logic means we will consider this kind of logic when clock equal to 0, right? And whenever the clock equal to 1, we will call it as your evaluation logic. Okay, now come to the point, come to the discussion that how these pre-charge and evaluation phases are working, right? Okay, so again coming to that point, coming to the circuit diagram of your dynamic logic circuit, that is, consider the pre-charge phase. First consider the pre-charge phase. Pre-charge phase means clock equal to 0. If the clock equal to 0, then what will happen? What will happen? This clock equal to 0. 0 means the PMOS transistor is on, right? And this Y is charged to what? Charged to 1. That means the VDD. Clear? Now it's the evaluation logic. Now whenever we will go to the evaluation logic, then my condition is clock equal to 1, right? So whenever the clock equal to 1, what will happen? The PMOS transistor is off. Yes, the PMOS transistor is off. Then the output node Y is depends on the input. If we consider this diagram, this upper portion is off, then what will be the condition of the Y? Then Y will be depending on the input, because depending on the input, this NMOS transistor will be on. So if it is on, then it will be 0. Otherwise, it is straight. It will be charged to 1. Okay, so whenever we are discussing the evaluation phase, please note it down that when A equal to 1, okay, this is the main key point of this area of this evaluation phase. Our clock equal to 1, so this PMOS transistor is off. Now when A equal to 1, this NMOS transistor is on, and then output node will be discharged to 0. That means Y equal to 0. Right? And when A equal to 0, right, because upper transistor is off, if A equal to 0, then what will happen? Then NMOS transistor is off. Obviously NMOS transistor is off. Then what will be the condition of the output node Y? Y remains in the charge condition. That means Y equal to 1, because previously it was charged to 1. Got my point? That what are the difference between your static CMOS design and your dynamic CMOS design? This is a dynamic behavior. Not 1, not 0. It is not stick to 1, it is not stick to 0. But it is dynamically changing the behavior. That's why it is called the dynamic logic circuit. Again, I am discussing the point that why it is called dynamic logic circuit. Whenever we are in the pre-charge phase means clock equal to 0. That means this upper portion totally off. So this PMOS transistor is working. So Y equal to 1. Y is charging. Now whenever we are entering in the evaluation phase, now this upper portion will be off, but the output will be charged or discharged. That depends on the input. If A equal to 1, means this NMOS transistor is on. If NMOS transistor is on, then the output will be discharged to 0. But if A equal to 0, that means this NMOS transistor is off, but the output will be not discharged to 0, because previously it was charged to 1. That means it will remain in this stage. That means Y equal to 1. Okay, so this is a total dynamic behavior of your dynamic logic circuit, but this is the unfooted portion. Now I will discuss the footed dynamic gates. right? Now I will discuss the footed dynamic gate, and that the same logic is happening, but the design mode is slightly different than of your unfooted dynamic logic circuit. Okay, so coming to the point of, is it visible? Okay, now coming to the point, that is footed dynamic logic, right? Footed dynamic logic, I am I will draw the two portion as I draw the same portion in the preceding section. Here I will also draw the general diagram of the footed dynamic logic and also the footed dynamic inverter, right? Okay, so first of all, okay. Now this is the footed dynamic logic. As we discussed in the previous section, that is the unfooted dynamic logic, and this is the footed dynamic logic. So what is the difference in this logic circuit? If you keep aside these diagram and the previous diagram side by side, and you compare the each and every design mode, each and every design part, you will see that there is only extra NMOS is added to as a foot in the previous in your bottom section. See here there is an extra NMOS, here there is an extra NMOS. Okay, so in the above case, if the input A equal to 1 during P-charge phase, the contention will take place because both NMOS and both PMOS transistors are on. So to avoid these, an extra clock transistor, that is N2 over here, is added at the bottom of the stack. This is called the foot transistor. So this is called the foot transistor. Okay, and this is the general diagram of that. Got my point? Again I am saying that in the pre-charge phase, if the input A equal to 1, what will happen? In the pre-charge phase, if the input A equal to 1, pre-charge phase means what? Pre-charge phase means clock equal to 0. So clock equal to 0, that means this PMOS is on. Okay, and if this input equal to 1, what will happen? This PMOS is on and this NMOS will be also on. So parallelly, this PMOS on, NMOS on. So the contention will take place. This will not happen. This will malfunction, right? This will malfunction, right? Because at a time, any one transistor will be on. Okay, parallelly they can't work together. Okay, so to avoid this problem, one extra clock transistor, just like this PMOS, is added just bottom of the stack, like this one and this one. Okay, and so this kind of transistor is known as your foot transistor. Okay, so let's discuss the pre-charge and evolution phase. So pre-charge and got my point of the drawback of the preceding section and the post-preceding section. Okay, got my point. What is the difference? What is the drawback, right? Why we are using this footed dynamic logic, right? Okay, so in this dynamic logic, in the pre-charge phase means clock equal to 0. So whenever clock equal to 0, this P1 is on, right? And clock equal to 0 means this N2 is off. So the pull down network is totally disabled. If it is on, depending on this input, this will not work because there is a cutoff mode, there is an open switch, because this is totally off. So this your total pull down network is off. This total pull down network is off. So the Y is charged to what? Y is charged to 1 because this P1 is working. Right? Okay. So what is the in your evaluation mode? Evaluation mode means clock equal to 1. Clock equal to 1 means this P1 is off. P1 is off means the pull up network is totally disabled. Totally disabled. Okay, and this N2 transistor is on. N2 transistor is on. So the output node, please note it down. This P1 is off, right? This P1 is off. Okay, this N2 is on, right? N2 is on. So this output Y will be charged or discharged with respect to A. Okay, so if A equal to 1, then Y equal to 0 because these both NMOS transistors are on. But if A equal to 0, then what will happen? This NMOS will be off if it is on, but this NMOS is off. So total pull down network will be disabled. Then what will be the condition of Y? Y will be equal to 1, obviously, because it was already pre-charged to 1. Right? It was already pre-charged to 1. So if it is 0, if A equal to 0, then what will be the condition of Y? What will be the value of Y? Obviously, Y equal to 1. So this is the beauty of your dynamic logic circuit. Okay, so in this video we have discussed that what is called dynamic logic circuit, why it is called dynamic logic circuits, why what are the pre-charge and evaluation logic, everything. Now coming to the point that what are the advantage, and by discussing the advantage I will stop the video lecture of this dynamic logic circuit, because in the next video lecture I will upload the cascading logic along with your domino logic and the NORA logic. Right? So that's the last point, that what are the advantage of your dynamic logic circuit. Right? So the first point is what is the first point? Now let's discussing the point. What are the first point of that? Now the first point is the first point is our required transistors is what? Required transistor is N plus 2 for N number of input. Right? This is all the advantages. Huh? Now what is your second advantage? Second advantage, obviously, zero static power dissipation. That was the major disadvantage of your pseudo NMOS logic. So zero static power dissipation. Right? Obviously, no contention, because we have already added a foot transistor just below the stack. Already no contention, no confusion basically. And the reduced logical effort. Obviously, reduced logical effort, and speed also high, right? Okay, so all are these your advantage of your dynamic logic circuit design. Okay, so please go through this. I think that there will be no doubts after going through the all video regarding your dynamic logic circuit, right? Okay, so enjoy your video and please get understand that what is basically, what is actually the dynamic logic circuit and what is the working principle, what is pre-charge and evaluation logic, how it works. It's a very, very important question of your semester. So thank you so much for watching this video.